Video game music is one of the things I love most about gaming. A good video game soundtrack can add so much to the overall experience, creating a whole new level of immersion and emotion. The music that plays as you play is often one of the most enjoyable and memorable parts of the game as a whole. Over the years, there has been a ridiculous amount of incredible video game soundtracks, from all sorts of different platforms and developers. Everyone has their own personal favorite songs from the games they've played, and it's impossible to create an objective list of the best video game music of all time. So instead, I'll be going over the soundtracks that mean the most to me personally, the ones that had the biggest impact on my life and have been played on repeat countless times. Coming up with a list of my favorite soundtracks was a very difficult task, as I could seriously give you a list of 50 game soundtracks and still be leaving a few out. So the ones that managed to make it onto this list are really the best of the best for me, so don't get too caught up in the exact placements. This list is not going to be limited to only Nintendo games, even though most of them probably still will be Nintendo since that's just what I love most. I'm also going to pick just one soundtrack per series, otherwise this list would be mostly Mario and Zelda music. Originally, I limited this list to just my top 10, but then that quickly turned into my top 11, top 12, and so on. I kept thinking of soundtracks that I just had to include, but I capped it at 15, so that's what I'll be going over today. This is my top 15 favorite video game soundtracks of all time. Super Metroid has some of the most atmospheric tracks you'll ever hear, with music that perfectly captures the vibes of exploring a hostile alien planet in total isolation. The songs in this game are super unique, and make running around planet Zebes a lot more interesting. A big reason why I keep coming back to this game over and over again is because of the amazing soundtrack. And the music still holds up really well to this day, and it's my personal favorite from the whole Metroid series. How they were able to create these songs with the limited power of the Super Nintendo is a true mystery. I just recently played through the first Ace Attorney game, and the soundtrack absolutely blew me away. The music in this game adds so much to the experience, and makes the narrative hit a whole lot harder. Going to battle in the courtroom using facts and evidence feels amazing, and all the character themes are great as well. There's happy and cheerful songs, energizing investigation tracks, slow and emotional songs, and of course the epic music when you finally discover the truth and catch someone lying. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney wouldn't be as fantastic as it is without this terrific soundtrack to go alongside all its best moments. Donkey Kong Country is a series that has always had amazing music, but the most recent game, Tropical Freeze, has the most impressive lineup of songs in my opinion. Every track in this game is just so satisfying to listen to, as all the elements of the song come together to create such beautiful pieces of music. The music feels like it's designed to be played as you're platforming around gorgeous environments as a big monkey. The soundtrack blends with the gameplay perfectly. The music is a huge part of what makes this game possibly the greatest 2D platformer ever made. Outer Wilds is probably one of the best video game experiences I've ever had, and the music is like the beating heart at the center of the whole adventure. The way the traveler's instruments all combine into one song is amazing, and it brings everything together really nicely. The ambient music that plays as you explore space is out of this world, and without getting into spoilers, there's some really great songs near the end of the game too. You can feel how much emotion has been poured into the soundtrack, and it really resonates with me. There aren't a ton of songs in this soundtrack, but what is here is just incredible. If you haven't already, you should really play this game. Minecraft's music is not at all what you would expect from a blocky survival building game, and that's what makes it so great. The soundtrack in this game is different from anything else, and it creates a really distinct feeling while playing. Whether you're creating something straight from your imagination with blocks, or looking for resources to survive the night, Minecraft's music is like a warm blanket that wraps around you as you play. There are so many of us out there who have deep nostalgic memories of this game, and listening to these songs can give you that weird feeling where you're sad the simple times are gone, but still happy that they happened at all. Animal Crossing New Leaf has created what I like to call the definitive 24-hour daily music selection for catching bugs, going fishing, talking to your neighbors, and getting into large amounts of debt so you can have a Zelda-themed room. I know, that title is a little too short. New Horizons has some solid music, but it was never going to beat New Leaf's amazing soundtrack. The hourly music is fantastic and captures the vibes of each hour really well. Listening to New Leaf's music fills me with memories of late summer nights playing my 3DS, and walking around Tortimer's Island at night to catch a whole bunch of rare beetles and totally break the bell economy. Not only did the gameplay of the series peak with New Leaf, but the music did as well. Undertale is similar to Ace Attorney in that I played it for the first time pretty recently, but I had heard of the legendary soundtrack long before that. Undertale's music is probably the most iconic thing about it, and for good reason. This soundtrack has a ridiculous amount of great songs, with so much heart and soul put into each one. It's crazy that one person can create something so good. It would probably be even higher on my list if I had more of a personal connection to it, since this soundtrack means a lot to so many people. The emotional songs really pack a punch, the atmospheric area themes sound great, and I'll never get tired of the high-energy battle themes. Celeste's music is similar to the game's narrative, an extremely personal feeling of overcoming hardships and conquering your mountain. This game can get really challenging at times, and the soundtrack was the biggest thing motivating me and pushing me forward to keep trying. Platforming up, down, and around Mount Celeste while the inspiring music plays puts me into a sort of trance-like state while controlling Madeline, and it gets me totally focused on the task ahead. Completing this game feels like a real accomplishment, and the music was there guiding you through it all. Wii Sports means a lot to me, as it was really the game that got me into gaming in the first place. I have a very strong nostalgic connection to this soundtrack, and whenever I listen to it I get swept away back to simpler days where I was carefree and having fun. Wii Sports Resort has amazing music as well, but for me the original has the most classic and memorable songs. We're getting to that point in the list where it's difficult for me to even put into words why I love this soundtrack so much. For basically being a tech demo meant to show off the power of the Wii Remote, this game sure has some incredible music. Trying to decide what my favorite Mario Kart soundtrack is was really hard, and I kept going back and forth on whether to include Mario Kart 8 or Mario Kart Wii. Both are fantastic, but currently I think I like Wii just a little bit more. Yeah, I know, I probably have my nostalgia goggles on, but hey, I guess I kind of like wearing those. There are just so many amazingly iconic songs from this game, and the music is really powerful. It feels like you're getting slammed with items yourself. Mario Kart 8 probably has objectively better music with its smooth jazz pieces, but I just love the intensity of the music from Wii. It represents everything Mario Kart is all about. High-speed, chaotic fun that creates great memories for everyone who plays. If you would have told me a couple years ago that I'd be placing Xenoblade's soundtrack this high on my personal list, I wouldn't have believed you. I thought I would never be able to enjoy a Xenoblade game. That is, until I actually gave it a real try and fell in love with it, and the music is a huge reason why. This soundtrack is so vast and expansive, with music for every story moment and beautiful environment. Exploring the world of Xenoblade Chronicles as the gorgeous music plays is a gaming experience I'll never forget, and it creates that magical feeling of being taken to another dimension where you can live out the fantasy adventure of your dreams. It would take me hours to cover all the terrific songs from this game, so just trust me when I say that this game has some truly exceptional music. The Legend of Zelda series means so much to me, so choosing my favorite Zelda soundtrack was quite difficult. And while Breath of the Wild and Ocarina of Time came close, in the end my favorite has to be Skyward Sword. This fully orchestrated soundtrack is full of beautiful and memorable songs, full of emotion and meaning. This music brings you to a place where you can really get immersed in the story and characters, while exploring the gorgeous world around you. A lot of the songs are slower, with an amazing feeling of relaxation and reflection. The Legend of Zelda is truly one of the greatest gaming franchises of all time, and the music has always been one of its most defining elements, and Skyward Sword is a great example of how fantastic Zelda music can be. Stardew Valley somehow has the ability to perfectly capture the atmosphere and feeling of each season. Seriously, it's insane how well the seasonal tracks fit with the vibes most commonly associated with each season. The spring is upbeat and lively, summer is playful and energetic, fall is calm and thoughtful, and winter is cold yet still inviting. Just one person created this masterpiece, which is a very impressive accomplishment that blows my mind. I listen to this soundtrack all the time in my daily life, and it never fails to calm me down and make me think deeply about my life and the way I'm living it. I know that's dramatic, but this music truly shows the power of the art form. The fact that this small indie game has music that can stand as one of the best of all time is a testament to human creativity and passion. The music of Splatoon 2 is very unique. With strange inkling and octoling vocals that aren't sung in any known language, you'd think this music wouldn't work. But surprisingly, this is some of the best video game music I've ever heard. The songs are so full of energy and enthusiasm, with catchy tunes that stick in your head for days. There are in-universe artists who create all the songs, which gives the soundtrack an extra layer of depth. Just the base Splatoon 2 soundtrack would be enough to get this music very high on my list, but then you throw in the Octo expansion in there too, and you've got an enormous amount of incredible songs. Sometimes I feel like a crazy person because most of my favorite artists are made up squid people, but with music this good, how could I not be a fan? This might seem like too obvious of a pick for some of you, but I really do think that Super Mario Galaxy's soundtrack is that good. This game has a legendary selection of songs that blast your ears with the epicness and scale of the tracks. These sweeping pieces of orchestral perfection are stunningly beautiful and timeless. This is the sort of soundtrack that I feel lucky to have the chance to listen to in my lifetime. The gentle and heartbreaking songs are phenomenal as well, and speak to me on a deeply personal level. Platforming on the expertly designed planets of space as Mario with this music as your companion is a gaming experience that makes a huge impact on the player and shows you the spectacular heights that video games can reach. And it's my pick for the greatest video game soundtrack of all time. And that's my list for my top 15 favorite video game soundtracks of all time. As I've said before, making this list was pretty hard, and I had to cut so many great soundtracks. Just to name a few really quickly, there's the Ori games, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Kena Bridge of Spirits, Monster Hunter Rise, Spiritfarer, and so many more. I hope I was able to show you why the music I selected means so much to me, and why they stand at the top of my list. I'm sure there's so many fantastic video game soundtracks out there that I've never had the chance to listen to myself, and I look forward to growing my personal library of amazing music that I know and love. Now go down to the comments and let me know what your favorite video game soundtracks are, and which ones have had the biggest impact on your life. This video took a while to put together, but it was a ton of fun spending so much time on one of my favorite topics. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see ya in the next one.